LeBron James stepped away from the Lakers huddle mid-game against our New York Knicks.
That's bold.
To confront Stephen A. Smith on the day that it was announced that he signed a $100 million contract with ESPN.
Put your money where your mouth at.
Over comments about him and his son/teammate. It's crazy to see son/teammate on here. Bronny James. Footage shows LeBron telling Stephen A., stop on my son. Stephen A. responded on First Take and his podcast, clarifying that he wasn't critiquing Bronny, but rather the position his father LeBron put him in.
So you
Melo,
critiquing the pops.
Wade, your thoughts on this wild situation? I know the world is dying to hear what y'all got to say about this.
He's the guest, man. Come on. He's on the couch, man.
I have a personal relationship with Stephen A. Obviously, our relationship with Brian and my relationship with Brian is documented.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I have a relationship with Stephen A. as well. And so we talk. You know what I mean? I'm not talking out of school. Me and him text back and forth about the situation. And just, you know, to be candid and honest, I told him, you know, it's dual sides once again. You know, I mean, I think you understand both sides if you're that person who wants to understand both sides. I told him, as a father, I'm walking up on you.
Right.
I get it, because I'm like that too. Like I'm at you.
Of course.
But also, you know what I told him, I said, and I think we've never seen LeBron do that. Like we've never seen, like LeBron don't even go back at players that foul him too hard on the court. We've never seen him be, like, he's always been just even keel and level headed in every aspect. And sometimes you want him to jump. Sometimes you want him to go, and he won't. And so to watch the clip and watch him on that bench and see Stephen A. over there, he couldn't take it. He couldn't take it.
I mean,
he could not stand it.
They got the memo. Yo, Stephen A. He coming tonight. He coming to the game tonight.
He knew it, because he saw him in warm up when he walked in. You know what I mean? But it was burning him. But you know, I told him, I said, you know, Stephen A., I think the one thing is, and first of all, I take it as that's a sign of respect that LeBron did that to you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know everyone
knows the power of Stephen A.'s voice.
He understands
also.
that. And I told him, I said, and that's the thing. Your microphone is the loudest. Your platform is the biggest. And also, you're a black man.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what I mean? So you got to understand, you know, where he's coming from with that. If he even approached you, because yes, the Skip Bayless of the world and all these guys have said things about him his entire career, and he's been above it. He stayed quiet above it and did his thing. And so that meant something. That's respect right there for everything you built. We know Stephen A. from Quite Frankly. We know Stephen A. when he was on the come up. And so that's respect. But also too, you know, it's a touchy situation because we've never seen this before. We've never seen this before when it comes to son, father. What do you say? What don't you say? You know, in that aspect. So I don't know if it's a right answer, but I would have walked up on him and said something too.
I think there's no right answer here. There's no right answer here,
No,
right?
there's no right answer.
At first, you know what I mean? If you're Stephen A., like, bro, you're doing, at the end of the day, Stephen A. is doing what Stephen A. is supposed to do. He's doing his job. The moment, you know what I mean? And all credit to him. Stephen A. has never said anything about Bronny up until he became a Laker. Didn't say anything about him when he was in high school. Didn't say about him in USC. Didn't say nothing about him through any of that stuff. So now when you in the situation where your peers are people I talk about and talk to every single day, it's his job to, you know what I mean, critique him as an athlete. But at the same time, we're all fathers here, right?
That's the thing you gotta understand.
You want to say that, like, you do the right thing in a situation, but I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you are liable to crash out over your kid no matter
I've done
what it is.
I've crashed out over mine. I will continue to crash out over mine. Right or wrong. I'm crashing out over mine.
Right or wrong. And
because
it's like,
you see your kid.
Exactly.
You see how it affects them.
You don't see a teammate.
Yeah, you don't see that. So Brian was like Stephen A. said, that was a father.
Yeah.
That was point blank period a father that, you know, that he knows his son. He knows if it has affected his son in any way. They have conversations in their household. That was strictly a father. That was not LeBron James, one of the greatest players we've ever seen. That was strictly a dad. And from a dad perspective, I'm at you. But from a perspective, you doing your job, you're not wrong for doing your job at all, the way that Stephen A. does his job. That's who he is. In a sense of like everything he said, he did not talk about him in high school. He did not go see him in high school. He did not talk about him in college. He did none of those things. And two, Bron is my guy, but Bron did put some extra heat on Bronny.
Yeah.
When Bron put out that tweet about him, he better than these cats in the NBA.
That was my thing.
He started the media. They checked that. They was like, oh, okay,
right.
And so they waiting on something.
So Stephen A. was on Gil's Arena, and you know Stephen A. saw the clip of Richard Jefferson and LeBron talking. where I think you can make out LeBron saying like, you know, I don't care what he says about me, but when he said, I'm coming to you as a father, that's when he was like, all right. And then Stephen A responded like, oh, so it was about you. It wasn't about Bronny. You know what I mean? So I think from that perspective, when it comes to what he says about, you know what I mean, LeBron, like putting him in an incredible situation where I said earlier, I don't think there's a right answer here. You know what I mean? We've never seen anything like this.
You can't separate church from state with that.
You can't.
You can't separate that. So there is a fine line of I am a father, but you can't separate the fact that he is your teammate as well. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And he's in this league to be critiqued. I just think this has been a build-up. We're talking 22 years. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with Bronny. It's just the fact that Bronny is a part of the conversation now, and he also got to protect his seed. You get what I'm saying? You got to protect the kingdom, no matter how old a nigga is. Like, he's Bronny. That's my dad. So Bron got to protect that. But there's also energy with those two and those crews. It's just as from over the years of just build up. This ain't no love relationship that we talk. This ain't no love friendship that we talk about. They
don't have a friendship,
right? So this is it is what it is in a sense, right? This just Stephen A. doing what he's supposed to do over the years. Bron doing what he's doing over the years, and this is what happens. Some shit might get misconstrued. I might not like what you say. I might not fuck with you. I ain't gonna deal with you. But the fact that I think the energy is because we dealing with two juggernauts in their respective fields, right? Bron being who he is, Stephen A. being who he is. A lot of people don't know that history between those two. The only thing people know is what Stephen A. may say or what he may not say. Bron has never spoken on any situation with Stephen A. So if I'm sitting there for 20 plus years and I'm just taking all of this information, all the shit that you've said to me is about me over the years, now my son is the trigger.
Yeah.
No matter what you said about him, that's the trigger. If you ain't saying nothing right, if you ain't standing up for him, that's the trigger. Whether anybody like it or not.
I think
right. I think Stephen A. handled it the right way in that situation because somebody else who may not know LeBron, right, that's in the media space, could have took that totally the wrong way and reacted differently and replied differently. Facts. So it'd have been a bigger spectacle. The fact that Stephen A. understands what this is really about. Okay, I'm in a situation. I got so-and-so right here. I got so-and-so right here. Nah, I just signed 100. We ain't doing. All right, go ahead, champ. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. I got to swallow my pride right now, but you.
I mean, what was he supposed? Ain't nobody fighting.
Nobody fighting. But also, I can't even go back at you. I got to leave it alone. For sure. I got to just listen to you. Yeah. Because any wrong thing, anything that I say can trigger something else. Yeah. So we just got to leave that situation alone.
But here's the thing. Bronny needs criticism.
Yes.
We all need some form of criticism. Yeah. I think when it came from the way Stephen A. came, he was talking about LeBron as a father, but he was talking about Bronny at the same time. It felt personal.
Yeah.
And I think it was the way that he said it. If you watching that and you LeBron, it came on personal to you, and even though Stephen A.
enough is enough.
Yeah, and it just boiled up. You saw he was on the bench sitting there. He looked to the side a couple times, and
I think Knicks was still up at that point.
Sick of this nigga, man.
Yeah, he was just sick. He was sick, and it was a moment. Now, like Stephen A. said, he could have got him out of the game. He could have said, I want to talk to you after the game. He could have walked up to him and said, I want to talk to you later. But that wasn't calculated.
You know why? Because the where we at today in society, culturally, just where we at, you got to stand on what you say.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Whether it's good, bad, and indifferent, you got to stand on it. So if you say it, be ready to stand on it.
Right.
I don't think nobody was expecting Bron to approach anybody.
Because he haven't.
Anybody. For 23 years, 22 years, he haven't approached anybody. So now this is deeper than you just saying some shit.
Brown.
It's deeper than rap. with this situation.
All right, so as fathers.
So my instinct says I'm sick of, like, I'm really sick of this nigga. Like, I'm, you know what I mean? Like,
he represented Stephen A. represented everybody else.
Bro, I was about to say, what did y'all, initially when it first saw, what did y'all think? Like, finally.
Yes,
I know me. I know I would have did the same thing if that's the way I felt. I don't know how Bron felt.
It wasn't about me. It was about seeing that, like, yo, yes, like, about time. Because now that you set the tone with the biggest nigga,
right?
You set the tone with everybody else.
Yeah.
Talk about the game. Talk about my son's the game. Don't talk about me as a father.
Right,
you have no rights to talk about me as a father and what I deal with in my household and how I raise my kids. Keep that out the picture. Let's talk about if my son missed 3 shots, if he ain't played. Let's talk about the game in Philly when he was forced to play and they forced him to look bad out. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about. They could talk about those embarrassing moments.
Right.
Let's talk about how he got to get better. I mean, it's just inevitable.